Samsung right now has two main flagship phones, the S25 Ultra and the Z Fold 7. Now, which one should you get? Well, if you're looking for bang for your buck, the S25 Ultra. There's no beating the phone for the price because the Z Fold 7 is over $1,800, and that's a really tough pill to swallow. However, if you have the extra cash, or if you're looking for something that fulfills the needs of multiple devices in one, or maybe you found a great trade-in deal, or more likely you're just curious, then here's the deal. The S25 Ultra is of course the classic Samsung flagship. It's a beautiful slab with insane cameras, the S Pen, great battery life, and basically just an overall kind of perfect phone over the past decade. The Z Fold 7 is not that at all. It's totally the opposite. It's a futuristic foldable that opens up into a mini tablet with a bigger screen, with a focus on multitasking, gaming, that has new quirks and bugs and things that we haven't really encountered over the past decade with smartphones. And it's kind of the beginning of what's to come over the next couple of years, because even though we've had foldables now for some time, they are now finally maturing. They are now making their ways to everyone. And of course, Apple and Google are getting into the game as well. And China has some fantastic foldables. So it's really a thing already. It's just a matter of once they get cheaper these coming years, basically people are going to switch to these. And I'm telling you, it's well worth having this in your pocket over a traditional slab phone. And so here's the thing, we're comparing a phone that has been kind of perfected over a really long time versus a folding phone, which is kind of this new wave of devices that are coming. But believe it or not, Samsung is basically close to already perfecting this. They've fixed so many of the problems with the previous folds that this thing feels almost no different to the S25 Ultra. Like just holding this thing, it feels nicer than the S25 Ultra because the S25 Ultra is a little bit too wide for me. It's a little bit clunky feeling. And so the Z Fold 7 actually feels nice in the hand. It's easy to type with one hand. It's easy to respond to text messages or make a call. And then when you want to make things big and want to use both hands on the device, you just unfold it. That's not the case, at least with my hands on the S25 Ultra. For me, kind of the biggest difference here is actually the water and dust resistance, which is IP48 in the Fold and IP68 in the Ultra. So basically on the Fold, you can get it wet and dust can fall on it and stuff, but ideally not much. Meanwhile, the Ultra, you can basically just go swimming with this thing, put it in a chalk bag, shake it, nothing's gonna happen to the phone. And that peace of mind to me is actually a requirement for me nowadays. I spend a lot of time rock climbing with chalk, which is something that you don't really want around devices that aren't fully dust proof. And also just the days of worrying about my phone around the pool or around somebody maybe holding my phone around the pool or maybe taking pictures or videos underwater or something like that, that's gone for me, and that's not something I would want to re-enter. If you're like me and film in all kinds of places, at your desk, out vlogging, and sometimes even interviews, you've probably run into this problem. You end up carrying multiple mics just to cover different setups. One for your phone, one for your camera, and maybe a bigger one for voiceovers, and it's just a pain. That's where this BOYA Magic caught my attention. It's the most versatile mic I've ever tested. At first glance, it looks very simple. It's just a tiny charging case with two transmitters, but the magic is that it transforms into 4 different microphone setups. It works as a clip-on mic, as a handheld mic, desktop, or even directly mounted onto your camera. It's literally 4 mics in one. Inside the box, BOYA gives you the charging case, which by the way doubles as the microphone itself, along with 2 transmitters and 2 receivers, one for smartphones, either USB-C or Lightning, and one with a 3.5mm jack for cameras. There's also some windshields, mic covers, a charging cable, and even a mini little tripod. Everything just fits into one compact storage bag, so I can just toss it in my backpack and know I'm covered whenever I'm filming. All right, so here we are testing the BOYA Magic outside. I am using the BOYA Magic app to turn on the AI noise canceling, but there's a lot of sounds going on in the background. We have highway sounds, we have an AC compressor out here going on, so it is very loud. And of course, you can see it clipped on right here, how many streamers do, but you can of course just clip it on to your shirt normally as well, or just hold it like this. There's also a little magnet here. Let me see if I can get that to focus. Magnet right there, so you can put it on your shirt and maybe put it like all the way down here, or you can put it inside out and try to hide it or something if that's what you prefer.
but really good audio quality. And of course, the transmitters connect automatically once you pull them out of the compartment they're in. And also the receiver that connects to your phone right here never needs to charge. It just automatically pulls power from your phone, which is nice. And so here is the Z Fold 7 without using the BOYA Magic. And also I am using the back cameras on the Z Fold 7 in case you're wondering. So this is recording at 4K 30 frames per second. Pretty good quality, and I can of course see myself here with the front screen flipped open like we showed in the other videos. But yeah. Alright, so now we're using the BOYA Magic in its kind of street interview normal microphone configuration, which is super cool. And of course comes with a bunch of covers for it as well, a windscreen and all that. So that not only does it look more like an actual mic and more professional, but you can help it with the wind noise reduction and all that. Now we're using the Z Fold 7's inner display camera, the punch hole camera, which is the worst of all the cameras, just in case you're curious. This is the best it's going to look, and you can kind of compare it to the back camera we did in the previous clip where it looked so much better. This is just so you can get an idea of that, as well as the sound here, which this is just so cool that you can use this as an actual mic, just kind of holding it like this.
Honestly, it's rare to find gear that actually replaces multiple tools in one, but the BOYA Magic actually does. Go to the link down below in the description to check out the BOYA mic for yourself, and thanks to BOYA for sponsoring this part of the video. Now the Ultra's displays and the Z Fold 7 are pretty close. They're all 120 Hz, they're all really bright and crazy sharp. Now the Ultra is sharper, but it's still really nice on the Z Fold 7. The biggest difference here is outdoor visibility and just overall kind of how the picture looks. Now the Ultra, it's perfection. It's just a stunning display. Everything looks incredible on it. However, the Fold makes up for it in one way, and that's when you open it, the display is just so massive and so cool that it just immerses you so much that it just instantly makes up for that. Maybe not outside where reflections are tough and everything, because the display definitely gets washed out in comparison to the 25 Ultra. But if you just had to pick one over the other, really just depends on what you're looking for in a phone. If you're mostly just going to watch TikTok videos all day, do messaging, and that's about it, then you really just need a traditional slab phone and nothing else. Maybe a flip phone. But if you love split screening apps, reading, or watching videos side by side, or comparing documents, then the Fold is just the way to go. There's like nothing that's going to beat the Fold in this category right now. I mean, you can have up to 3 apps open on the Fold with all of them running just absolutely perfectly. You can have a game playing while you're also watching a video. Like, there's a bunch of things you can do on this thing that you can just think of it and do it, which you cannot do on any other smartphone right now. And the great thing is that they're both running the same Snapdragon 8 Elite for Galaxy chips, so they're both equally fast. No real difference in raw power. Now the Ultra does have the S Pen built in, which is a cool little feature to have. The Z Fold 7 not only does it not have it built in this year, but it also got rid of support, so you can't use it at all on this thing. So if you want to sign documents or write notes or things like that handheld, then it's not possible. I mean, you can use a traditional stylus. The tablet is big enough to use a normal stylus on it, but just worth noting that feature is gone here. Cameras, you're basically going to see the same performance across both of them. No real point in actually comparing them. They both take fantastic pictures, except for when you zoom in. The Ultra does have that periscope lens, which is fantastic and really cool. I don't use it very often, but that would be something that you are missing out with the Z Fold 7. So overall, just kind of the camera setup on the Ultra is a little bit better, but not by a huge margin. And I actually think the Fold has a little bit of an edge because you can take selfies and group pictures with the back camera, because you can kind of open it with this special mode that it has where you can see yourself on the cover display and then hold your hand up, and then it'll take a picture after a couple seconds. And I do say hold your hand up and use that mode, because if you try to click the shutter or the volume button to take a picture, it's a little bit difficult with such a big device. But this ends up giving you a better selfie than basically any phone out in the market, unless you're just kind of taking selfies at an arm's length and just kind of hoping that it looks good or something. But this just really lets you frame that picture, and it just looks really good when you do this. Now maybe I was pushing this as much as I could, but the Ultra's battery is 5000 milliamp and it goes all day basically, and you can basically move it on to the next day if you wanted to, depending on what you do. The Fold is at 4400 milliamps, which doesn't sound too big, but again, we have 2 displays on this thing and you're often multitasking more, so it drains a lot quicker. Basically, you're not going to get anywhere near the same battery as the Ultra. However, they both do charge at 25 watts, so they're both very slow charging at wireless, and they also both have reverse wireless charging. But if you just had to pick based on battery life, like you need battery life, that's all you care about, then there's just no point on picking the Z Fold 7 here. But I do believe the Z Fold 7 makes up for it very easily, and you could always just preserve battery by not using the internal display if you needed to. And again, pricing here, the Ultra starts around 1300, but it's gone much cheaper than this, and with like trade-in deals and often discounts that they have, you can easily find an Ultra in this like 900, 800, $1,000 range depending on the deals. Meanwhile, the Fold, not likely to see a discount anytime soon, but you do have a lot of trade-in deals which make the phone, I don't know, about $600 or $700 to $900 plus your trade-in device. I mean, right now I was offered basically to trade in my Ultra for the Fold for a difference of, I believe it was about $800, which is not the worst thing in the world. However, the Ultra is already so good that I wonder, why do I want to pay an extra $800 to get rid of my Ultra? That's the tough part. If it was a one-to-one trade, I would just instantly do it, but it's not a one-to-one trade, and that's the tough thing. But yeah, the Ultra is just this polished, do everything flagship that just looks really good and you feel comfortable with, because that's what we've had. The Fold is an experiment that has now finally kind of come to fruition, and it's now working, and this is now the future. It is still niche, but once you get it and use it, and if you like it, then you're never going to go back to a Slab phone after this. So overall, if you want the best bang for your buck, go Ultra. It's still just a fantastic device for the price, and it just does everything. There's really nothing that it doesn't do. But if you want something that does more than everything, that begins to potentially remove other devices from your life, like maybe no Kindle because this is the perfect device for reading, maybe no carrying around the Switch, maybe you don't need it, or no carrying around the Steam Deck all the time, etc., because you have a bunch of games on here and you're emulating a bunch of games on here, then maybe that's your sign to go and look into the Fold. Personally, I would say don't pay full price for it, get a good trade-in deal or wait for a discount and then jump for it. Let me know which one you'd get in the comments if they're both the same price, because I'm curious if there's any of you out there that just simply don't want a folding phone and don't want to deal with that, even if they were the same price, because honestly, I'm telling you, this thing is really cool. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Goodbye.